Hey guys, it's another week of anime reviews from here from Anime Legends Podcast, and I'm coming this week with another review of Gintama Season 3 or 2000. Review, I'm going to say I'm sorry about not making a video from last week. I just couldn't make no video last week because feeling I wasn't feeling like myself. I just didn't feel comfortable making the video last week. I just couldn't feel up to it. And I didn't want to give you guys something and it wasn't giving my best. So with that, I do apologize for those who did want to see a anime review of Gintama last week, which I was unable to produce, but I have for this week. Anyway, without further ado, this week's episode of Gintama, we have a parody of Saint Seiya. Okay, so for those Saint Seiya fans, I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. If you are a fan of it, then this episode is definitely for you. This week of Gintama, it's a one episode arc. It's an episodic episode, so it won't continue after this episode. We won't see a continuation of this story, and it's just for mainly comic relief and just being Gintama. This is what Gintama is about. Aside from the action that we get every so often, this is Gintama at its best. And basically, as my title says, we get this self-contained episode with Hasegawa, one of many side characters in the Gintama universe. And if you don't know who Hasegawa is, or if you do know him, you know he is considered a madaho, a person who just can't get his life right, who's just considered a bum, and he every time he gets a job, he loses it. And just this episode, we've seen him get a job where he tries to make somewhat of a living, telling scary stories about his failures in his life to children that comes into the park. And then he goes on to Gin and the others, Gin, Shinpachi, and Kagura, and he asks them, I'm running out of ideas. I don't have no more stories to tell about my failures or what happened in life. So what do you guys suppose? And they go on helping him, telling him, here's a story. And it has some horror aspects, nothing to like really jump at you, but like Gintama is a series that has almost every single genre in it, and it can transition into it, and it doesn't feel out of place. So there'll be times where you get horror, like in this episode, or you'll get times romance, or obviously tragedy and thriller, suspense, and all those other things, and they just all fit together so wonderfully in Gintama. So while they're trying to help him figure out a way on how to tell horror stories to the kids at the park in order to get their money, they come up with several references towards the Saint Seiya series. And it's like, then there was a part in the episode where it's like BNP. I'm thinking they're part of Sunrise. So they're like, Sunrise is the parent, and they're like they're like the head, and then this is the sub group of Sunrise. And they're getting a call from Toei Animation saying, this is copyright. You're copywriting our series. And like, you're thinking, oh, okay, they're gonna get sued, because Gintama is known for parodying many other series as well as even Japanese celebrities. And if you are a Gintama fan, if you're someone that watches Gintama, this is your train thought. You're always thinking, why has this series not been copyrighted yet? Every time I watch this series, I'm like, I swear they're gonna get sued one day. I don't want them to get sued, but that's what happens when you watch Gintama. So they're telling stories is getting good. They mess it up in some way in the end, and it was just a really funny episode. And I mean, knowing Gintama, and it uses many preferences from different series and dramas and such, if you do not know them very well, you may miss out as much as the person who does know about these things. So if you knew about what they were talking about in this episode, you enjoy more than another person who doesn't. Like myself, I do not know a thing about Saint Seiya, and I mean, I still enjoyed the episode, but I probably could have enjoyed it even more if I did know about Saint Seiya. So, but nonetheless, it was a good episode to watch. I mean, there was a part in the episode that I have to say my favorite part of the episode was when Kagura was telling the story about the brothers and how they were abandoned by their parents. And the little brother gets really sick, and the older brother abandons him by a shrine. And when he goes back there a few years later to visit to see if his body's there, he sees, like, I guess a ghost, a shadow of a figure of a child. And just when the kid is about to turn his head, he turns into some Saint Seiya figure. And I was like, you almost got me there. And then they just turn it, and I'm like, really? I thought this was going to be a real horror story. And by the end of the episode, they even made, before the real ending credits came by, they made their own credits with drawing characters. My bad. So it was a pretty amusing episode. I know a lot of fans of Saint Seiya. I know I'm saying this a lot. You will really enjoy this episode. I suggest you go check it out. Even if you don't know the preference, you still will enjoy the episode because you're just gonna have this what the hell type of look on your face. Get trolled throughout the whole episode. And this is a self-contained, so it won't continue. And overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was pretty good. My rating, let's see, I'll give this episode a 3.5, you know, due to me not knowing much of the preference, but it's still an enjoyable self-contained episode. And next week, I can't wait for next week. Is about to happen. So people are going to confess about many things that they have done in their life. And without and with further ado on that, please leave a subscribe, and a comment down below. Also, if you want to ask us any questions or such, you can go on our Twitter. Um, Also, if you want to check out our Tumblr, it's there too, as well as my own Tumblr. If you do have a Tumblr, you can check me out on Tumblr, and you can ask me any questions that you feel like. And until then, Kimmy-chan of Anime Legends Podcast is out. Bye.